They play host to the Brisbane Bullets, who have got some challenges of their own. That is coming up next. On behalf of Andrew Gaze, Leonard Copeland, Kelsey Brown and our team, thanks so much for being with us tonight. Don't go too far, because up next, it's the Wildcats taking on the Bullets.
This program is brought to you by Hungry Jack's and Bunnings Warehouse.
Perth, I'm worried about. I'm seeing the same stuff I seen 12 months ago where they couldn't get it done.
It's actually never been easier to guard Bryce Cotton than it is for these guys right now in these situations.
We're not playing good basketball at this point in time.
What's frustrated us as a group is like we get celebrated right now for when we compete, and we understand our club has gone through a period where that hasn't been happening, but now there's expectation on ourselves from within that we're better than just competing.
You can't avoid the noise. Just imagine how I feel when we're 2-4 and we're not playing well.
We've got to learn what winning habits look like every single moment in the game.
The Bullets have a huge week ahead of them. They go out to play against the Perth Wildcats. The loser of that game, it's a wrap. I'm saying it right here. The loser of that game is done.
It is a massive night in Perth for the Wildcats and the Bullets. It might only be round 5, but it's as close to a must-win as you'll get at this point of the season. Perth's lost their last 3. Brisbane's lost 4 on the bounce since a 2-0 start. And they could each dearly do with a win to release some of the pressure that is building on their campaigns. Great to have you with us for the second leg of our Friday night doubleheader in the Hungry Jacks NBL. Joel Peterson with you, looking forward to the Perth Wildcats and the Brisbane Bullets. We take a look at our Mitsubishi Motors ladder. They are both 2-4, these teams. They come in 7th and 8th. And with a couple of gentlemen who've got NBA experience in Mitch Creek and Ryan Brockhoff. Creaky, this one is set up to be a very interesting contest.
Yeah, it definitely is, mate. It's a tale right now where teams are not really in form, and I think there's a lot of expectation for both these clubs to be playing at a much higher level. And defensively, they're both not getting it done, but offensively for the Perth Wildcats, they are struggling. That man, Bryce Cotton, having a little bit of a tough time, but that is going to pass. We know how much of a champion this man is.
Rowdy, he's been so much the point of the conversation around the Wildcats. He struggles. He had this quote to say during the week, really shouldering some of the blame. How did you read what Bryce Cotton had to say?
That's a leader being a leader. He's obviously deflecting some of the attention away from the coach and the other players on the group. It's just a leader doing what a leader must do. We know what kind of player he is. His form slump right now is not what we expect, and not to the standards that he's set for such a long period of time, but he has been the top guy in this NBL for so long that a little bit of drop in form, and he's just trying to rectify that with his actions.
And we saw some of this footage earlier in the week, Creaky, just the way that he's not involved in some of these late game possessions.
Yeah, look, in years past, we typically see Bryce Cotton coming out of these corners, flying off handoffs, having re-screen actions with their big guys. I think someone like Keanu Pinder and these other guys on the floor need to understand this is a multiple MVP. He's an NBL champion. He's an absolute star of the world game of basketball, and him standing in the corner, shuffling his feet side to side is not going to get it done for the Wildcats.
It's going to be a big test. You see his career averages there, so we know what he's done. Multiple MVP, 22 points a game. and then his season averages this year. So 15, shooting it at 32%, 4.5 assists. The numbers most people would be pretty happy with, but it's just down on what we expect from the great man.
Yeah, I'd be pumped with those numbers. And most people in the NBL would, but we've come to expect so much from Bryce Cotton over a long period of time. But expect him to find some form soon. That shooting stroke will come back. And I think him playing with such a talented group around him, he's sort of unsure when it's his time to just take over. And also his teammates need to recognise who is the man on this team.
So the Bullets come to town. They've lost 4 in a row after starting 2 and zip. They don't have Shannon Scott. They don't have Aaron Baines. Mitch Norton comes back to Perth. He steps into the starting lineup, Rowdy, and he's going to have to shoulder a bit more of the load.
He is. You're thinking, what kind of player does Perth need? It's someone like Mitch Norton, and Brisbane are in the same boat. Obviously, he fills a perfect role of defence, setting up the team, doing all the little things that you need from a backcourt teammate, and he's got to take some of the load off Sobey. Sobey's probably going to have to move to the point guard at points during this game, which hasn't really worked well for them. But you look at the bench, Isaac Black comes on, offensively minded, trying to score the ball. So it's going to be up to Sobey. He's got a big challenge ahead of him tonight.
So this is what Mitch Norton had to say on the Dribble podcast of the West Australian during the week, talking about honesty in the way that he left Perth. Not the best situation for him to leave, Creaky. I think he'll be pretty fired up to do something nice in front of the whole Wildcats fans tonight.
Yeah, look, anytime you leave a situation, you never want to go back and say this is now a rival club. You always want to never burn your bridges, you'd say. But I know Mitch Norton very well, and I know he's a very calm, poised person, but he is a competitor. I know he's going to go back. There is going to be a little bit of animosity maybe in the back of his mind, but he's a professional. He's going to go out there, and I'd love to see the matchup between him and Bryce Cotton tonight.
So Ty Webster, Doolittle, Usher, Cotton and Pinder the starting 5 for John Riley. And 2 changes to the Brisbane starting lineup. So Sam McDaniel comes in to replace Chris Smith in the starting 5. Mitch Norton replaces Shannon Scott out there with Bannon, Harrison and Sobey. It is very close to being must-win for these 2 teams in Perth this evening. The Wildcats and the Bullets, they're both 2 and 4. And the Red Army will be fired up to try and see their side rebound onto the winners list. This undermanned Brisbane team going on the road as underdogs, trying to get the job done. And they will start with the opening offensive possession of the game. Of course, went down to the Southeast Melbourne Phoenix by 23 last week, the Bullets. Just the 73 points in that game for them on the offensive end. Here's Norton getting right to the cup, back in familiar surroundings.
That's a fabulous start for Mitch Norton right there. That is exactly what Brisbane need right now. Someone who can attack the paint, create shots, but also make plays and finish around the ring and take some of that load off Sobey, as Rowdy was saying before.
And as you expect, Perth going straight to Cotton, first offensive possession of the game, trying to get him a shot, and this is what we need to see from Pinder, getting back on the rim. I think he's sort of settled a little bit offensively. When he's attacking and aggressive, Perth look really tough to stop.
And probably 2 sides that haven't really had a lot of that dribble penetration so far this season, when you look at the way they play.
Yeah, I think it's a hard one because at times, you know, both teams can shoot the ball at a very high level. You've got DJ Mitchell, Sobey. You've got guys out there that can stretch the floor on both teams. You can see the Webster brothers. But right now, it's about getting feet in the paint. Points per possession go way up right now, almost 3 times the points per possession. So if you get feet in the paint, those numbers skyrocket. You go from maybe averaging 80 points as a team, get feet in the paint, you might be up around 140, 150 over the course of the entire game. So feet in the paint is a big one for both teams tonight.
So some early clock adjustments being done on the floor. A loose ball scrimmage. Norton's diving onto it for the Bullets. And they're going to have to take a look at things in the score department again. Bullets with a good start here. Great to have, as part of our coverage tonight, Mitch Creek and Ryan Brockhoff, and also the 6-time Defensive Player of the Year, the Mayor of Perth, Damien Martin, is courtside. Damo, good evening to you. What's the mood been like in your part of the world this week?
Oh, there's been a lot of comments made throughout the course of the week off the back of the loss and off the back of multiple losses to the Perth Wildcats. And I actually spent a few days in Brisbane at the start of this week, so it's great to see what the Bullets were doing in a team session on Monday. Then Tuesday was more of an individual. They call it get what you need, so one player, one coach. So a lot of questions asked of the Wildcats, and from what I've seen of the Bullets earlier in training, they look switched on and ready to go.
They're off to a good start here. Harrison with the bucket, Pinder outside. He can't knock it down, foul down low.
Harrison's going to be really important tonight. Obviously stepping in with the absence of Baines, and his size and physicality can really give Perth trouble. Perth have athletic forwards and bigs, but no one that can match up with him size and strength-wise. He just needs to stay out of foul trouble. That's been his biggest problem.
So how does he do that, Rowdy?
Just keeping hands out, just staying vertical, using his size to defend against shots, and he's going to be attacked on the perimeter, just using his length to create that gap so he's not getting attacked so easily and putting his hands on.
Usher bricks a mid-range three. Bannon pulls down the rebound. Sobey scoots the other way in transition for the Bullets. Josh Bannon playing his second game in Brisbane colours. Last week played 19 and a half minutes, and a moving screen there on Harrison. That's not going to help.
And don't move on your screen. Simple.
That was one we just left out real quietly just there.
Oh, I missed that one, boys. Sorry, it's past my bedtime.
Harrison, just send Rowdy an email and an invoice. That's all you need to do.
Point of emphasis this year for the referees. We know that. Tyrell Harrison's falling foul off it on that occasion. Usher lines up the triple. What a great shooting start for the Wildcats. I think they might be able to get a little bit better than that on their offensive possessions. Sobey's fouled.
8 red.
Is that the kind of shot you're looking for pretty early in the shot clock, Usher, to try and get going?
No, I think it needs to go through hands a little bit more. I think they're feeling the pressure from the media and obviously from the fans about their start. They really want to get off to a good start, and well, the Perth fans are probably getting a little bit restless standing up still. So hopefully they can get on the scoreboard soon and get, I think just got to get Cotton involved and make sure their offense runs through him from the start.
Norton and Cotton, championship teammates, of course, going at each other on opposite sides of the ledger. Sobey gets all the way inside. Bannon kept it alive but couldn't keep it in white colours.
How long can you stand up for, Rowdy, before your back gets sore nowadays? You got 5 minutes in now?
4 at max, probably. 4 at max. I'm usually draped with one child or two hanging from it, so 4 minutes is all I do. But
just hope there's no timeouts or something in there as well.
Webster turns down a wide open one.
Gets it back, drives the lane, just navigating around. Pinder can't take the lid off it at the offensive end for the Wildcats. Here's Bryce going to work. He can't get it to go either.
And you can feel the tension from the crowd. You can hear it in the background. It's always tough when you know, and Sobey walks into a three. You can't let someone as good as Sobey just have rise-up threes. But you're right, boys. It's a hard one when you know the crowd's standing up there waiting for you to get that first bucket. You got We Will Rock You on repeat right now. It's been a couple of minutes. And there we go.
Usher from the mid-range gets the Wildcats on the board.
Probably still not the offense you want. A foot on line, long two. Just take that little step back and shoot the three. But at least it's good to get him on the board. And I was looking at Brisbane with their changes, taking Chris Smith out of the starting lineup. As Sobey gets the rim, a little shooken up, but hopefully he's all right. But they've gone, it seems like a more defensive lineup. They're obviously trying to limit Perth on the offensive end as we have a look at the Harvey Norman replay.
He was none of 6 last week against the Phoenix, Nathan Sobey. Just walked into that one. He'd love to see that go down to get him going, because he tried his heart out against your team last week, Creaky. He gave everything he had. He just didn't have a great shooting night, but he'd love to see that one fall and now step to the line.
And that's what great players do. They come out and they keep shooting. They understand how much time and effort they put in. They don't need to worry about, oh, I've shot 50% this game, I'm going to shoot it next week. Whether you make shots or miss shots, it's about the repetition and the volume you've put in prior to the games. You trust yourself. We see in the last game, Chris Goulding goes 1 of 9, but he's going to keep shooting, and he's just as dangerous, if not more dangerous, just like all these great shooters. As the more they miss, for me, the more they're going to make. So you've got to really pay close attention to someone like a Sobey tonight.
Creaky, I think you're spot on there about shooters have got to shoot. I actually didn't know much about that. I kept trying, though, but I saw something on social media. Rowdy, did you hit 94 of 100 three-pointers today?
Great segue, Damo.
Yeah, just getting the rust off a little bit, mate. I couldn't move and defend and do everything else, so I had to find one skill that I was good at, mate, and don't know, I put that up and pump the business a little bit.
Might have hit the over there on how long it took to get that into the broadcast tonight at 4 minutes. I was expecting it to come up in about the first 2.
If that is dusting off a little bit of rust.
Gee whiz.
You are drinking enough moonshine to go crazy to think that is a normal thing. 94 out of 100 threes.
I missed shot 99 and I was filthy with myself. I just about booted the ball.
Did you knock down number 100?
Oh, of course.
If you hadn't have, would you just kept going until you knocked one down? Got to finish on a make?
I would have stopped. Oh, what a
Harrison
finish
over the top.
Harrison. That's what we need to see from the big fella. No, if I missed 100, would have just edited the video and altered the score on the machine.
Are you saying that it could potentially be photoshopped?
I have shot 106 from 100 before.
Gee, that's good.
It's real good.
That's impressive. That's impressive. Wildcats certainly aren't doing that at the moment. Webster misses a three. Here's Cotton in the open court. Webster running the break with him. Cotton hangs, can't hit. Webster pulls down the offensive rebound and didn't see a lot that he liked immediately. It's been a slow offensive start for the Wildcats. Doolittle almost lost that one. Pinder gets inside, he's fouled.
Looks like number 2 on Harrison too. Just got to keep those hands out. He's going to get attacked from perimeter. Challenge at the rim, use his size and length, but 2 quick early ones, and we'll probably see Rocco getting into the game early.
And it's going to be a focal point of the Perth offense as well, is to go at him, because you know that if he's in foul trouble, it does become a bit of a problem for them.
Oh, and the athletes that they have with Pinder and Saad and their ability to put the ball on the floor, it's tough for guards to stay in front of those guys, let alone bigs who are more accustomed to playing close to the rim.
So, snooze timeout, and it's a coach's challenge as well on the call as Pinder was driving to the hoop, so Tyrell Harrison might yet have this foul call rescinded. Justin Schuler chatting to his team. You can see Rocco Zakarski just over his right shoulder along with Chris Smith. Great to see. Fascinating battle of the next stars tonight. Rocco Zakarski and Alex Saar. That'll be good fun when we get to see those two. We see the play with Pinder driving to the hoop.
And I know the bigs matchup, we had one with Joe Chi. Obviously, everyone wanted to see the Joe Chi matchup against Brisbane's big fella as well. That was always one that was always highly touted for.
After review, the coach's challenge is unsuccessful. The call on the floor stands with 2 shots to Pinder.
Vaughan Mabry, Ruben Woolcock and Craig Copes, our referees for this evening. So the call will stand. It is a second foul on Tyrell Harrison, who starts off 2 of 3, 4 points in 5 minutes and has to take a seat. And Keanu Pinder will step to the line. First season in Wildcats colours, 17 and 13 last week. This is the first free throw. 20 of 29 coming into tonight so far at the stripe. Pinder's able to knock down the second. 8-point spread. Damo, you were listening into Justin Schuler.
Yeah, as you could imagine, it was full of praise. It's upbeat. It's the first time I've actually listened in on a Justin Schuler timeout, and he was brilliant. He was clear, he was precise, and all of his players are going back out there full of confidence off that last minute. I'll listen into, as we see next star, Rocco Zakarski check in, and on cue, a dunk over Alex Saar.
Well, there you go. We just talked about it, and that is exactly the kind of start you want with your head-to-head matchup.
Does a little bit of everything, Damien Martin. He might have a future in play-by-play commentary as well. A 10-point lead, and here we see Rocco Zakarski into the action straight away. He's got a habit of making an instant impact, the big fella.
That's what you want first touch, just get on the rim nice and easy, but he moves so well for such a big fella, and how's that juicy matchup between those two? I'm looking forward to hopefully seeing lots of minutes tonight and looking to the future. 2 NBA prospects that could have a long career playing over there as well.
I mean, it's so exciting to see to know that we see it tonight, and it's a steal there, Rocco Zakarski. He plays cornerback, but we're going to see that for so many years to come, right at the top level. Here's Bannon getting inside to his left hand and hooking it home.
And I like what Bannon does here. He's someone that's got great touch. He's got a big physical body. He's athletic. He can play both sides, and he's tough. And I think this is a good matchup for him tonight. Doolittle struggled a little bit inconsistent right now, but I think this is a really good one for both guys to really showcase what they're bringing this season.
So a 15-3 start here for the Bullets. lead out to a game-high 12. McDaniel gets inside, and they're getting anything they want at the moment, Brisbane.
It's too easy at the moment. It's a great start by Brisbane as we get a timeout.
This Perth defence is asleep early. And John really, if he came into the game with stuff to work on, he's got even more to work on now. 17-3, the Bullets lead at the timeout. Of course, Mitch Norton's a big part of the story this evening. A couple of time a championship player with the Wildcats. He returns to Perth, but this time he's in Bullets colours, and he caught up with our own Damien Martin.
It's good. It's good. I'm looking forward to it. You know, it's a lot of fond memories in this building. A couple of banners up there, which is cool to come back and see. But you know, I'm a Brisbane Bullet now, and it's fun to play in this venue.
When he used to guard Bryce Cotton at training, he used to say, "You can't score on me." Now it's going to happen out there over the next 40 minutes. What's the mindset going into a game where you know you're guarding BC?
Yeah, I'm looking forward to it. You know, as a defender, you want to challenge yourself against the best, and I do that day in, day out against BC. So not that I have any insider knowledge is going to make it any easier, but I'm looking forward to it.
You said you are a Brisbane Bullet now, so far as even selling your house in Perth. Were you happy with the sale price, and was your agent amazing?
Yeah, Damien Martin's not a bad real estate agent.
Thanks, mate.
He's the mayor. He's got the Defensive Player of the Year trophy named after him, and you even sold his house, Damo.
Oh, just quietly a suburb record for a 3x1. So if Nordo wants to bring that up, that's fine with me. But no, I do miss him. He's one of my best mates. So to hang out with him on Monday and Tuesday over in Brisbane, and caught up with Rocco Zakarski as well. And you're just talking about a guy who's a vet and will bring out the best in the youngster who's going to be in the NBA in a couple of years due to his work ethic, skill, agility. And for what I've seen so far, he can flat out play the game. But Nordo is the perfect teammate to have for Rocco's development.
He seems like at the moment he'd almost be the perfect teammate to have for this Wildcats team, funnily enough. He brings a lot of what they need right now. Chris Smith into the game for the Bullets. So too DJ Mitchell. Perth still can't buy one on the offensive end. Hiram Harris out there with Michael Harris now for the Wildcats. Hiram Harris throws it over his head, trying to get it to go.
And it's just a little kamikaze right now. 3 minutes to go in the first quarter, only 3 points. I don't know how many times in my lifetime where I've ever played against Perth where they've only scored 3 points in the first quarter. I know there's a lot of time to go, but, you know, signs are the pressure is getting to them. They need to settle down, get through some offenses, let your stars have the ball and create some plays for other guys to get some easy ones.
Here's Norton from outside. That won't go.
Especially at RAC Arena in front of their fans. It's just been a flat start. The energy hasn't been there. Shot selection's been a little rough. That shot didn't... That's a great effort by the big fella. That shot didn't get through any hands. Just a simple on ball, taking contested three. They're trying, but it seems like they're trying as individuals. Just got to start working together, finding each other easy shots to be able to get themselves going offensively, and they need to get a stop defensively. They're just letting everything go through the paint right now.
You're right, that shot selection, it's a duplicate almost of what you saw before. It's something where you come down, one dribble, quick shot, you get it off, and if it goes in, all is forgiven, but those shots aren't going to win you games over the course of 40 minutes.
14-point spread. Sobey gets inside. He's fouled on the way through. And the Wildcats are in a world of hurt early in this game. Having lost their last 3, they've got 3 points through nearly 7.5 minutes in this opening frame, shooting 1 of 14 and 0 of 6 from downtown.
And the two offensive plays are very similar between Brisbane and Perth. A side on-ball screen, but you saw the intent from Brisbane. Let's get downhill, let's get on the rim, put pressure on the bigs. If we can get into the paint, score, draw fouls, get to the free throw line, get some easy shots. As obviously jinxed him because he missed the first.
And that is rare. He came into tonight, Nathan Sobey, 32 of 33 on the season. Ticked over his 750th made free throw in the NBL with his first make this evening. He hits the second. So he's only missed the 2 all season. There's Nathan Sobey from his 37 attempts. And that lead just keeps stretching. Now a game-high 15. Cotton back out there for the Cats. Offensive foul.
Just as one goes down, Perth just can't catch a break. And right now, when you've been The first one he sees goes through, turns into an offensive foul going the other way for Brizzy.
Sometimes when it rains, it pours, but I like that. Rocco hasn't quite learned about his levels at the defensive end, using a guard in the pick and roll. So attacking him, using Bryce's speed and having Sarah be able to pick and pop or pick and roll, got to put them in a world of hurt defensively.
Mitchell goes to the fall away, can't get that to go. So 3 points for the Wildcats with 2 minutes remaining. The lowest they've ever scored in an opening frame is 8. As taking it all the way inside is Michael Harris. Gets it to go, and he'll go to the line to add the bonus.
And that's great signs for Perth. When you've got some of your young guys coming off energy, just wanting to go out there and play, make something happen. A good right-hand drive here. Finishes through contact. Young fella coming off the bench and creating that spark for Perth.
Well, and if you're someone who is on that John Rillie bench at the moment, and I'm thinking of Ben Henschel or someone like that, there is an opportunity for you when things are going like this.
Absolutely there is. There's countless opportunities to dive on loose balls, to box out and hit first, to set a bit of a tempo defensively. As you see here, picking up full court right now, pressuring Isaac White to turn that ball over and over again. You've got to sit down, defend, let the offense just flow and come and not be too greedy, but those young guys right now are really stepping up.
Sobey got it out to White in the corner, who's having a great season shooting from downtown. Sarah and Zakarski engage one another down low again. That one's going to be a red ball. 1 of 12 so far on the season, Isaac White from 3. So not his characteristic strong shooting. So the Wildcats can try and eat back into this margin. Corey Webster gets one to go.
That was going to feel nice for Webb right there, just in rhythm. Little heavy nail tag right there, just a little bit too far across, trying to stop Bryce Cotton. Easy little kick out, and you can't give the Webster boys that much space. That's going to be going in all night long.
Just look like things are settling down for the Wildcats at the moment. They came in with so much pressure on their shoulders. Not the start they wanted. Sobey just rolls through the lane.
That is a absolutely beautiful Euro step all the way to Italy on that one.
Hiram Harris into Michael Harris again, who lays it home. He's making an impact off the bench with 4. So they've avoided their worst opening quarter in NBL history. They came against Illawarra in 1986 when they scored 8 points, the Wildcats. So they had some real history they were up against early doors. Sobey can't get that to go. 11 on the shot clock for number 11. Cotton races up the floor. Outside to Webster. That won't go. Brisbane might have a chance to end the quarter on a high note. Chris Smith almost lost it. Heaves it up, won't go. And a rough opening term for the Wildcats. They clawed some ground back late, but they go to quarter time down by 11. The Bullets lead it 20-9. Wasn't the opening term that the Perth Wildcats were looking for. They were slow out of the gates, but one man who wasn't was Mitch Norton, back on his former home floor. Of course, a championship winner with the Wildcats. He scored the opening points of the game. He was involved doing all those Mitch Norton things the Wildcats fans came to love over the years. Even dishing out one to Rocco Zikarsky, who yammed it on Alex Sarr's head in the battle of the next stars this evening. And at quarter time, that man has got some thinking to do because his Wildcats are down 20-9. Joel Peterson, Mitch Creek, Ryan Brockhoff with you. Damien Martin courtside with us at RAC Arena. Great to have you with us. Second leg of a doubleheader on your Friday night, the Hungry Jacks NBL, as Hiram Harris with a strong take to the cup. That's the way the Wildcats would have wanted to start this second quarter.
That's a perfect start for them, and again, attacking the rim. This is not what you're the high-powered offensive unit on the floor, but guys that can attack the rim, know their role. It's a great start for them.
Cotton wants to push the tempo for the Wildcats. Still can't buy one, Bryce. 0-4 to start.
And it's a great attack, though. In transition, everyone's running to the corners. Good spacing there. Bryce gets a pretty easy look. He misses that one, but if you keep giving him looks like that, he's going to get his rhythm. He's going to be hard to stop, and once he starts making one...
He's from the baseline. 0-5 as his rough shooting continues, but he's getting some good looks at the moment. He's the Wildcat star. Corey Webster had that one blocked by Sobey. Fell into the lap of Michael Harris, and Zikarsky collects the loose ball. What are they looking for at the moment? The Wildcats, it sort of seems like it's on both ends of the court, their issues at the moment, Rowdy.
Yeah, it just, that's a great move, not the best finish. But defensively, they've got to keep plays in front of them. They've got to get some stops, get out in transition. We saw Cotton just before push it, find himself a nice shot that we'd expect him to make. He's start off a bit slow, but find ways to generate some energy on the defensive end, open things up offensively for themselves, get some easy buckets, then the outside shots will start dropping.
Now, Alex Sarr comes out of the game. Keanu Pinder comes back in, so both the Harrises out there, Hiram and Michael, with Pinder, Cotton and Corey Webster for the Wildcats. Rocco Zikarsky with Josh Bannon, Nathan Sobey, Sam McDaniel and Chris Smith for the Bullets. Alex Sarr, of course, has been so much of the story for the Wildcats. And I mean, it probably asked the same question of Rocco Zikarsky for the Bullets as well. Should they be getting a little bit more run, these two next stars? They're out there. They seem to be doing some pretty good things as Pinder gets one to go.
It's a tough one because, you know, you want these guys to have the minutes, you want them to have the opportunity to play in the games, but you're also got to wonder, you know, who are the bigs? Who do we have? And, you know, you look at Brisbane and Aaron Baines has been that guy as McDaniel walks into one. You know, Aaron Baines has been that guy that's come out and been very solid, and with his return coming back, this is a great time for Rocco to go out and play big minutes, contribute on both ends of the floor, get his feet wet a little bit, put his slipper on and just understand what it's like to swim in the ocean with the big boys. And, you know, he's holding his own. As Rowdy said before, he moves really well as Perth start to play the hustle game. And when you turn up the defense, Hiram Harris right now is starting to step up. And if you said to me, just through the second quarter, Hiram Harris is your leading scorer for the Perth Wildcats, you might think I'm a little crazy, but he's a workhorse and that's what he does.
Absolutely, he's provided them a little bit of a spark. Both the Harrises have coming off the bench.
I'm gonna watch it.
And Justin Schuler has seen enough at this point in time to call a timeout for his Brisbane Bullets. Margin is back to 7, 22-15. There's been no shortage of talk around this Wildcats team, and of course the former coach is back in town, Trevor Gleeson. Spoke to Code Sports during the week saying, I'd listen if a great situation appeared. Said it before, but I definitely want to finish my career in the NBL. See what happens, and I'm open to everything. Just casting the line out there, Trevor Gleeson, and seeing if he might get a bite.
Little fishing, little snorkeling, I love what he's doing. You know, he's coached in Perth a long time. He's had success there. He's won multiple championships. He's a very well-respected coach all around the world, but yeah, it's a tough time in Perth, and when you put your name in the hat, you never know when it might get read.
Absolutely. Damien Martin's courtside for us. Damo, what did you have to think about your former coach's comments during the week?
Oh, look, he's had some job offers already. The reality is he's still contracted to the Toronto Raptors and still getting paid out by them. So essentially he'd be coaching for free if he does take on another job. He has goals to get back to the NBA. So whilst he would look at all offers, I think his goal first and foremost is to get back over to America. And if that doesn't come to fruition, then certainly the NBL is where his heart is. And he still owns a house here in Perth. But you've got to remember, John Riley, he's still got a contract for this season and next. So I don't see it being as a Wildcats head coach anytime soon.
Well, if he does still have that property, Damo, but he knows who to call if he is interested in moving at any time soon, that's for sure. We've established that earlier on this evening as Smith takes a little bit of a tumble.
That might have been the old chair pull right there from Mr. Webster.
Chris Smith was left a little bit frustrated by that. Not in the starting lineup tonight. They'd love to see a little bit more out of him, Rowdy, a knockdown shooter, but they just struggled to get him going in a great way so far.
Yeah, they're going to find a way to get him some open shots, get him involved in the offense, finding something easy. It's good and well to self-find it. It's good and easy to say find him some shots or make him aggressive. It's find him good shots to build his confidence back up.
Wildcats have eaten into this margin. Now it's 7. Pinder gets his right hand, lays it home.
And that's the Pinder we were talking about before. Getting downhill, getting on his right hand, his left hand, finishing both ways. He's so big and so dynamic. When he gets his head down and stops slipping on that three-point line, God, he's tough to defend.
Yeah, that's set up by home. Harris's attack to begin with, drawing the help and then forcing a tough closeout on Pinder, who's super athletic.
Bannon from the elbow knocks it down.
And Bannon was highly productive, his last couple of years over in college at Montana. He's got the skills offensively. Brisbane are looking for someone to step up. Could be his night tonight.
Big fella out of Geelong. All Big Sky first team and then second team player at the University of Montana as Cotton gets things going. He still can't get one to go, Bryce. He's 0 of 6 to start. And then he's on the other end, knocking it away from Smith.
He's playing both ends. You've got to give him credit where credit's due right now. It's not going offensively for him right now. He's a little frustrated, but as we see, Hungry Jack's replay right now, coming through. He's not 7 foot, but he's playing above the ring right there.
I know he brings so much energy and so much leadership to this team. Do you think we judge him harshly, Bryce Cotton, in terms of what we expect from him and what he's producing?
Yeah, absolutely. It's the old LeBron effect, and I'm not comparing Bryce Cotton to LeBron directly, but it's the excellence that he brings every single year. We saw the statistics before. 22.5 points a game is phenomenal. Not many guys get within even, a point or two of him every single year, and when he's got that year in, year out, we just expect huge numbers, and sometimes the greats aren't always going to have the greatest of starts, but it's how they bounce back. He's got the right attitude. He's taking the selfless approach and a bit of that ownership. And, as you spoke about, Rowdy, he's an absolute professional, and you love to see him in the game.
I just watching that end of that play, and Tyro Harrison gets subbed on, immediate foul on a moving screen again. That's 3 for him. He's going to sit for the rest of the quarter, the rest of the half, and puts big pressure on Rocco. He's performed well, but this big minutes against quality opposition for the young fella.
And you're right, 5 minutes, 3 fouls. It's a tough situation when you're trying to find your rhythm. You're putting pressure on another guy, but if Rocco, happens to get a little bit of foul trouble, you can see Banham slide to the 5. As Perth are starting to find their groove just a little bit. It's a tough one, yeah.
There's a hair on him. Did you see the little side ponies? And then give him the 2 small on the run down the court after scoring in the post. He's full of, he's always entertaining, Ty.
I think he's got the ponytail and he's got the double side pony as well. The pigtails and the pony. I'm not sure what's going on there. I can't pull that off. I've got Pepper Le Pew on my head right now, so I can't talk too loudly.
Bannon gets one to go. Doolittle's working on the other end.
Cricky, I want to ask you about Doolittle. Obviously, you played against him in Puerto Rico. He had some decent numbers over there. It just hasn't translated to his time here in the NBL.
Yeah, look, Christian Doolittle was such a force for Bayern Munich, Vaqueros Bayern Munich over there. Gary Brown and I for the Guanabo Mets got to play against him this year in the finals, and unfortunately, we didn't get to get the chocolates, unlike they did, but, Doolittle's gone and won multiple championships there. 13.5 points a game, 3.5 assists, 8 rebounds over there, coming over here and only averaging 3.5 points a game. and only 3.5 rebounds a game. So quite a big difference. You know, it's the league, it's the toughness. We talk about the level of the NBL in Australia and how much it's grown over the past 10 years. You know, even decades before that, I think the level of the game here has got to be a top 3 league in the world right now. And we're seeing great players come in and maybe not always do as good as we think they will do.
Do they need to be doing anything to play more to his strengths?
I think you just got to understand that, you know, he's a dynamic 4 that can shoot, he can roll, he can play off the short roll as well. So he's got that good mid-range touch. He's a great distributor of the ball. As I spoke about, you know, went over to Puerto Rico on a championship side and had 3.5 assists a game. Those are great numbers. He can do everything, but at the moment he's kind of running around and not really has a big part in this team. So I think it's the role clarity. It's the same situation with Bryce. He's struggling a little bit. All these guys are starting to find who's the man, who's got to sit down just for a little bit longer, who's got to put their hand up a little bit longer, who's got to take a little bit less of that responsibility and sacrifice a bit of themselves for the team.
Yeah, and we look at the roster of Perth and it's like it's chock full of talent. There's so much talent offensively and pieces that you think should fit together, but they just haven't figured it out quite yet. As we get
slamming it home off the lob, Keanu crams it in.
Speaking of offensive talent and athleticism, but we haven't seen enough of that. We're just, as Cotton.
The rip from Bryce and the roll, and all of a sudden the Wildcats are right back in the game.
And he's on the board right now. First score of the game is what you want to see. It's Bryce time.
The energy's just ramped up a little bit at RAC Arena.
If I was as we see the Harvey Norman dunk by Keanu Pinder. Showing off all the athleticism right there. Beautiful find from Bryce Cotton. Have yourself some of that. If I was a betting man, Mr. Rockoff, I reckon this next play for Perth is going to Mr. Bryce Cotton.
Bannon underneath to White. Nice finish. And he'll go to the line to add 1.
Counts, 11 red. Pushing the back.
So the Bullets come right back down the other way and immediately start to try and build that advantage back. Isaac White, he hasn't had a great shooting season so far, especially from downtown, but he does provide them with a lot of energy and some scoring punch off the bench.
Yeah, you'd expect that to change pretty quickly, and it's interesting lineup with Brisbane here, and no Sobey on the floor, no Norton on the floor. Obviously Harrison's in his foul troubles, he's not on the floor, so a lot of as you Creaky, I didn't take that bet. I didn't take it. He shot it. It was Bryce.
Usher needs no invitation.
So this is a great time for Perth to be able to get going offensively and challenge this Brisbane lineup to see who's going to be the one to put the ball in the hole.
So 4-point spread. It was 11 at quarter time. It was as many as 15 in that opening frame, the way of the Bullets at 18-3. The Wildcats have eaten back into the margin. Isaac White goes to work again, banks it home.
And Isaac White, one of those guys that has kind of quietly gone about his business this season, done a phenomenal job, hasn't shot the 3 as much as we've seen him kind of stroke it in the preseason. He was up around 50 or 60% right now. Not at that level as Perth is starting to really open these floodgates and find their offensive rhythm.
Michael Harris with another bucket. He's on 6 points, 3 of 4 shooting. An important role. Big season for Otago in the NZNBL in the off-season. 23 points a game. White goes inside and Saar's not having that.
Great rim protection. He's a great athlete, great timing. And that's when he's at his best, when he's able to come from the weak side. And Isaac White in amongst the trees probably needs to kick that out to the corner for the open 3.
Just quietly between Alex Saar and Rocco Zakarski alone, we've got 438 centimetres of basketball talent out there this evening. Smith's shot's waved off. He can't beat the shot clock.
That's a lot of centimetres.
That's a lot of centimetres and only 35 combined years of age, if you can believe that.
It's almost me.
It's about 9 Gary Browns right there. It's a lot of tall timber.
There's a lot of talent in those 2 frames as well. Here is Saar going straight to work, leaning in and the foul.
It's a phenomenal move right there. Aggressive, downhill, uses his body, uses his size and his length. Makes the basket, goes to the line for the 3-point play.
His ability to score on the inside and out, use his body, use his size, and that simple shot fake. It's the fundamentals that kids, and especially his size, don't usually have. He's able to use it effectively and get himself the and-one opportunity.
Oh, he's so exciting. Alex Sarr, 32-34. We go courtside to Damian Martin. Damo, this is a different-looking Wildcats team in this second period.
It's completely different, and there's two players I want to mention for the reason why, and you guys have spoken about them all as well, but Michael Harris and Hiram Harris, they're the reason the Wildcats are going to go into the half-time, not down 15 or 20. And it's simple. They did two things right. They played with energy and they played with purpose. If they're going to run, they're running hard. They're playing defense, they're playing hard. And they know their purpose on their team. You spoke about role clarity. Those two players have nailed it when the other five that started the game didn't. And now everybody's bought in, even to the extent that when I was down at the Brisbane Bullets bench, I couldn't see a thing because everyone was standing up. I had to move so I could watch the game. I came and stood behind the Wildcats. Everyone was sitting down on the bench. Now, after every play, everyone's up and about. Michael Harris, Hiram Harris, Wildcats fans, owe you a big thank you.
Been in a bit of a funk, Damo, but I mean, when you are in this kind of situation, I imagine it's all those smaller things that add up and can really try and drag you out of it. It's going to be important for them to try and keep that up. Chris Smith got the end one at the other end. Back to a 4-point spread. Sarr inside, had it poked away. McDaniel comes up with the loose ball. And Doolittle pokes it away from him. Good energy from the import. It's a little bit of a tumble into the advertising hoardings, but he's up and okay. I think the Red Army likes the look of that on the replay.
There's a little bit of messy in that one.
Only signed 3 days before the season. Christian Doolittle. Here's Smith off the inbound. One was always missing. Doolittle's on the boards. Got a couple. That's what they really need him to bring to the table. Usher hasn't had a great start shooting it.
Perth just have to balance the floor there. You got Doolittle coming down on the left side of the floor, looking for a handoff action. Little two-man game on one side of the floor. You've got a guard in the middle of the floor and Sarr kind of backpedaling into the same space. You need to get one big up high in the action, one down low on the dunker spot, or at least spread them 5 out. So there's plenty of room for these guards on each side of the floor to make easy basketball decisions.
Couple of buckets for Chris Smith, just to steady things for the Bullets a little bit. Cotton, Michael Harris, Sarr, Usher and Doolittle out there at the moment. Foul off the ball. Matty Johns, along with Smith, Sobey, Bannon and White out there for Justin Schuller. As usual, a big Friday night crowd in at RAC Arena. All kinds of characters in there. Here's Usher driving inside, can't get it to go. Spotted 3 blokes sitting courtside, all with their faces painted as cats. They look like grown men. That's passionate, I'd say.
It's Halloween night there, isn't it?
Yes.
Maybe that's the reason, spooky season.
Spooky season.
Or just passionate fans, you love to see it.
They didn't look like they were particularly wild cats, though. They were just sort of
tame domestic cats.
They looked pretty domestic. They looked like sort of up on the couch in front of the fire type cats. Usher gets 2 at the line. Of course, he made this place erupt on opening night. 35 points. Hasn't hit those lofty heights since. Back to 4 points. Under a minute until half-time. Mid-ranger from Smith won't go. Ripped down by Bannon. Puts it up and in.
This could be a coming-out game for Bannon. He's been really solid so far, hitting some mid-range jump shots and using his size. He's well built for a young fella. Get on the offensive board, fight for it, and be able to finish.
208 and 100 according to the official numbers. The 22-year-old.
There's nothing too fancy right now See this snooze timeout.
So 6-point spread, 42 seconds left. Speaking of Josh Bannon, he's 4 of 4. He caught up with us pre-season and talked about his road to the NBL.
Yes, I grew up in Melbourne, Victoria. Played my juniors basketball for the Blackburn Vikings and was fortunate to have some really good coaches there. Made my first state team under-18s top age. From that nationals, I made an Oz team with Justin as the coach, and then got a scholarship to the AAS. It all happened in a couple of weeks, and then went to college at the University of Montana for 3 years. Had a great experience there. Now I'm back here in Brisbane.
Good to see him doing some good stuff, reuniting with his former under-17 coach, Justin Schuler. So you can see Schuler left there and Josh Bannon also in that team. Wani Swakala Bullock's in the middle. Luke Travers is in that team as well, the under-17s, and an AFL Premiership player in Luke Jackson. So some real talent coming out of that team, and another of those connections that Justin Schuler's been able to take from his extensive junior coaching career and now translate that into his Brisbane Bullets roster.
That's the best part about basketball. It's full circle. You never know when you're going to kind of reconnect and find out who your junior coach was, and 10 years later, all of a sudden, he's got a new head coaching role, and he gets that call, you know, straight to you and says, hey, mate, look, we're going to redo this thing all over again, try and find some of the success we had with the junior Australian team, and that's where it's a pretty special sport, basketball. You never know when it's going to come back around.
Played his juniors out in the eastern suburbs of Melbourne.
There's the boys.
There's the boys.
The Cats.
There might be a story behind that later on this evening, I reckon. I reckon they're there
for a reason. Damo down there.
I think it might have been might be the Kick It Forward podcast guys, Josh Garliff and that crew. As Sobey drives inside and he's fouled on the way through. So 19 seconds remaining in this opening half, and it's been a really bright start for the Bullets, Rowdy. This is exactly what Justin Schuler would have wanted.
It is, and just got to finish this half strongly. Obviously, hoping Sobey makes both free throws here, get a defensive stop, take that momentum that Perth has sort of wrestled back in this quarter into half-time. I've done it twice to him. I've mozzed him twice. He hasn't missed a free throw all season.
This is crazy.
So you've mozzed Harrison, now you've mozzed Sobey.
Yeah, I said no fouling for Harrison, so he goes ahead and fouls.
Is he going to give up burgers? If he gives up burgers, I'm going to get a blue moon straight away.
This would be unheard of.
Come on, so
you said it, not me. So Rocco Scarski's going to have 20-20 tonight. So
hey, there we go. I like that.
Speak it into existence.
So single digits left on the shot clock until half-time.
Looks like confusion at the end of the play. Guys pointing, Usher pointing, trying to direct Doolittle. I feel like these are situations that probably should have been and probably are covered at training during the week, but just confusion. They're lucky to get away with a foul, kind of bail them out, but that lack of cohesion that we've been talking about offensively just showed its head again.
And you're right. Right now, Bryce Cotton, 1 of 8 from the field, but no free throws. And Bryce has been someone typically who leads the competition in free throw attempts and normally free throws made. Right now, going to the line for the first time in the half at 2.73 seconds to go now, shooting his first pair. And normally when he makes a couple of free throws, things start to open up, but he's going to have that halftime break to cool him down, and let's see if he can come back out in the second half nice and hot.
We haven't had a classic Bryce Cotton 4-point play in what feels like forever. He's just hasn't found that rhythm, been able to draw those fouls he usually does. And once you're making free throws, that ticks over your points. It gets you some easy buckets. Confidence builds from there.
Hasn't been getting to the line as much. 3.5 free throw attempts a game through his first 6. He hits that one and makes it a 6-point spread. 3 seconds remaining. Can the Bullets buy one heading into the half here? Isaac White will have to make some magic from almost at half court. Can't get it to go. But a promising start for the Bullets. On the road, undermanned, they're the underdogs, and they come out swinging and lead by 6 at half-time. It was as many as 15 in that opening term. Perth only had 3 points through the first 5 or 6 minutes, and they were really struggling on the offensive end, but got things going in that second period, scoring 27 points, the Wildcats, and they've narrowed the gap to 6 at half-time. 42-36. Let's go courtside to Damien Martin.
I'm here with Nathan Sobey, who's been fantastic in the first 20 minutes. Sobes, what'd you make of the first half?
Yeah, I mean, I thought we started real well and then had a few lapses there in the second quarter and they got going. So, I mean, we know where we're playing. They can put points on the board pretty quick, so we've got to tighten up those few errors.
You did hold him to 36. Would that be a key message from Justin, is to make sure limit the ebbs and flows and keep them guessing?
Yeah, I mean, absolutely. Like I said, if we take away a few of those little errors, I think we keep them to 20-something. So we'll continue to make the adjustments. We'll take that for the first half for sure.
Best of luck in the second, mate.
Nathan Sobey with Damian Martin. Promising start for the Bullets, but the Wildcats have fought their way back into the contest. At half-time, it's a 6-point game. Plenty more coming up on the other side of this.
Bryce Cotton being around 15th in the league in scoring, that just doesn't happen. It's not what we're used to, and it's not what the Wildcats need. You could see a bit of air of frustration from him because he's having to really work so hard.
I mean, it's always been, I guess, an internal journey for me, so I just always continue to try to prove myself right on my journey, all the obstacles I've had to overcome. You take it all. It's all a part of the journey, and you know, some of those seemingly lows end up being your biggest blessings in disguise. So I try to never get too high, never get too low, and understand this is all a part of the process. And whenever I'm done playing, I'll look back and I'm sure I'll appreciate it all. My little one, she doesn't really care how, I guess, tired of a day I had. She wants to rip around and run outside and do a million things. So I just take one hat off when I leave practice and put another one on when I go home. It's great, and you know, it keeps me feeling youthful, and yeah, I enjoy it a lot. Being a father hasn't changed
my mentality as an athlete, but obviously I won't show that side to my daughter. I'll just wait for her to go to sleep, and then I'll go back into my fields for the night. And then once midnight hits, I flush it.
Cotton stepping back. Here he comes.
Oh dear.
You cannot keep a good man down.
And you know that's part of the equation with Bryce Cotton, that he's always going to come back with something a little bit special. Joel Peterson, Mitch Creek, Ryan Brockhoff with you. Half-time, it is Brisbane leading by 6, but Bryce Cotton, he hasn't had the best shooting night, gents, but he's been finding other ways to get involved.
Yeah, he has. And look, right now, his usage seems to be a little bit down. He's someone who typically has the ball in his hands quite a lot. He's coming off a lot of actions. As you can see, his team's kind of passing the ball around. It's not really finding him at the end of actions. A little bit of frustration here, miscommunication results in a little bit of tension in the shot, and he's just missing some shots and not being in the rhythm we're used to seeing Bryce Cotton playing. Right here, you see a nice little middle on ball, walks into a three-pointer, unlucky with the moving screen, but that's probably one of the only ones that actually really made a lot of sense for him in the first half. And even late in the game, you could see at the end, he got to the foul line, but he's making plays all over the court. Right now, he's got 4 assists and 3 steals, so it mightn't be the offensive right now, but it's the defensive and the playmaking for other guys, which is what we're seeing Bryce Cotton do right now.
And he always brings intangibles. He always brings leadership, Rowdy.
He does, and he's full of energy. He feels the pressure. He's trying to find ways to impact the game, whatever he can. It just hasn't come as we look at the Blackmore shot chart. It's a lot of X's that we're not used to seeing from Bryce, but eventually that funk's going to change as long as he's doing things defensively, opening things up for the offense, and being the leader on the court. That stuff will take care of itself.
And it's probably a mark of the man that even when he's not having his best night from a shooting perspective, he is still the focus of our Hungry Jacks highlights. Damien Martin's courtside with us this evening. Great to have the 6-time Defensive Player of the Year with us. Damo, what have you seen from the first half in terms of how the Wildcats and Bryce particularly are travelling?
Yeah, I'll start with Bryce. I watched that highlights package or watching what Bryce has done so far in this game, and every single shot he took, if I'm his teammate, I'm happy with it. I'm saying, let's run you another play. Let's try and get you an easy one. And that's where the Wildcats have struggled. Bryce, his strength, ball in hand, there's no doubt about it. But how can they use him either as a decoy and get an easy slip for a big, or then open it up and get him an easy look where he doesn't have to put the ball on the floor. He can just get an easy catch and shoot. So if I was his teammate, I'd be screening harder than ever before. I'd be running plays for him where he can come off a curl cut. But right now, ball in his hand, I still back him to get the job done, but it's got to be 4 other guys also creating energy, also getting on the offensive glass and trying to get those second looks. As you know, the best three-pointer is one off the back of an offensive rebound.
And you're right, Damo. I think it's one of those things that the teammates have to understand that Bryce Cotton, this is his team, this is his league, he's the man. And as much as some of these guys want to come out and shoot the ball and make plays, they have to put it in his hands and trust that he's a multiple MVP, he's a multiple champion, he's going to get the job done. So they need to put a little more trust in him and just give him the rock and let him go to work.
Yeah, I used to say that you play selfish basketball, not if you just keep shooting the ball, but if you don't play your role to the best of your ability. And right now I can say Michael Harris is playing his role, Hiram Harris is playing his role. We see Bryce's energy the whole game. Doesn't matter if the shot goes in or not, he's playing his role. Now, he'd love to see a few more drop because people will say he's a scorer. He's more than a scorer. Everyone else, in my opinion, needs to look themselves in the mirror at halftime and say, how can I contribute? What can I do better? Is it energy? Is it effort? Is it encouraging my teammates? If they're out on the floor, is it rebounding? Is it setting screens? Everyone can step up that little bit, and little things add up to big things, and that can help the superstar we see on your screen get some easy buckets, and 2 points could lead to 20 quite quickly when you talk about Bryce Cotton.
Yeah, I was going to ask you any sort of adjustments offensively that you see. What's one play that during your time, or obviously covering Perth, that is kind of the go-to to get Bryce going? What do you think that is?
Oh, I used to love run back-to-back plays because he gets so much attention. So for me, when I was playing for Trevor Gleeson, first one was called kick-back 2. So you'd get him off a flex cut, then you come back same ball side. The big would think, my guy's setting the screen, they're running this for Bryce, I better go and help. And then we'd get the big guy slipping for an easy layup. No one likes being embarrassed, so you run the exact same play the second time. Now the big man who got embarrassed the first time thinks they're smart. I'm not going to be fooled by this. I'm not going to go and help on Bryce, because they're running it for my guy again. Now, all of a sudden, Bryce gets a good screen set for him. No big man helping on the show. Boom, wide open layup, wide open jump shot. He sees it goes through the net. Then you give him the ball and say, go have some fun, mate.
So good to have the experience of Damien Martin alongside Mitch Creek and Ryan Brockhoff as part of our call. Friday night hoops, second leg of our doubleheader. Brisbane in the box seat at halftime. The Wildcats have still got work to do. They trail by 6. halftime in the jungle, and the Bullets have come to play. They lead by 6 at the half, 42-36. Coming in on a 4-game losing streak. The Wildcats have lost 3 on the bounce. John Peterson, Mitch Creek, Ryan Brockhoff and Damien Martin with you. Second leg of a Friday night doubleheader. Alex Sarr and Rocco Zakarski both involved on the opening play out of the half. And the Wildcats have been so much the story so far. Rowdy, the Bullets have done some really nice things.
Yeah, I think we want to highlight Mitch Norton and his impact on the game tonight. Only 5 points offensively. His stats never jump out at you, but plus 17 plus minus in his minutes on the floor. His impact is always under the radar. He does all little things. Dove on a loose ball in the first half, gets the ball in offense to where it should be, finds the open player, and just helps things run smoothly on both ends of the floor.
Rocco Zakarski out there to start this second half in place of Tyrell Harrison, who started the game. Pinder, wild pass out to the corner. Usher with the spin move. Can't get it to go.
That's a beautiful defensive play right there by Bannon as well. Gets a little hand on that and just nice little block. Nothing too crazy, but he's a good all-round athlete and he's playing a really good game so far tonight. As Rowdy said before, this could be his breakout game where he really solidifies himself as a main contributor for this Bullets team. As that man right there, Mitch Norton, keeps on ticking along with some great work.
Really see why Josh Bannon was so sought after by a number of clubs coming out of 3 seasons at the University of Montana. Doing some nice things for Justin Schuler. Doolittle into a mid-range jump shot.
And that's what he can do right there. Walks into a beautiful rhythm to go under and disrespect him a little bit. He could definitely light that up.
I still didn't feel like there was much conviction behind. As Bannon goes again, he's really strong in the mid-range. But Doolittle, even on that shot, he didn't look confident. He didn't look aggressive. That shot kind of just opened up, and the defense going under, and he took it. But I didn't see that intent to be the scorer.
Here he is. It's never going to take long out of the half for Bryce to get going.
You go in, you collate a little bit of that information you see when the ball goes through the hoop in that first half. You come out and make your first shot. As Damo said before, this could be a 20-point outing in this second half.
Bannon outside, steps inside. Usher's directing some traffic, trying to energise his team. Now Ty Webster, 2 of 5 for him so far this evening. Pinder puts it on the floor, beautiful move.
Great move and great attack. Rocco, it's great to see him getting these meaningful minutes in tough NBL conditions, but that's the one thing about finding his distance on defense, staying down, playing against grown men and athletes like Keanu Pinder, who in the future he's going to be guarding week in or night in, night out in the NBA, but this is going to be really important for his development.
Sobey's fouled. He will step to the line to shoot 3. Rowdy won't say anything about his free throw shooting, having put the mods on him a couple of
times. Lips are sealed. Lips are sealed.
Yeah, don't jinx this one.
The boy from Warrnambool, good country Victorian, Mitch.
Hey, there you go, God's country right there. Country Victoria, Warrnambool, Horsham.
Frankston, is it?
No, we relax, Rowdy.
We'll pay Bendigo for yours truly, but I don't think I'll give you Frankston.
Oh, I feel left out.
That's a long way away. Does lightning even strike over that side of the country?
That's a good question.
Hearing it from the home fans is Nathan Sobey.
Isn't it great to see him back in good nick, body looking healthy, athletic, quickness is back.
Playing 31 minutes a game.
Yeah, it's awesome to see. It's great for this league, great for Brisbane. Now they're just going to find some healthy bodies around him.
Considering the season, considering the injury he was coming off, he had a great season last season.
He did.
Still finding his legs.
Yeah, he absolutely did, but I think just like how we talk about Cotton, his resume speaks for itself and his consistency that probably just wasn't exactly how we pictured him coming into the year, but this year he's been on fire, leading the league in points and really carrying offensively the Brisbane Bullets.
Just to do a lot of carrying at the moment.
And I think it's the workload of the physical of playing, but it's also the emotional and spiritual leadership that Sobey brings to this team. You know, you can never underestimate what he does. It's a beautiful move right there.
Stare down.
Yeah, have a bit of that. Ponytails.
Flapping in the wind as he runs down the court. Nothing more menacing than that.
But that's what Sobey's done a great job of, I think, over the past couple of years. Is he's always been that really good physical leader and leads by example.
Usher with the rip away. And then has a bit of his own at the other end. There's just more involved in being a leader of a team. He's got all kinds of stuff to think about. The welfare of your teammates forefront. Mitchell keeps it alive for the Bullets. Sobey thought about it. Whips it back to DJ.
And there's someone that I think can step up in the absence of some of the players in Brisbane. DJ Mitchell's had a really good, outstanding career of shooting the ball, and I think been a little quiet of late, but gets to see a wide open one, not go in just then, but not too many bad shooters go out and say, you know what, I missed the first one wide open. That second one's going to go in for sure.
Of course, from good pedigree, the son of Mike. Played with the Gold Coast, North Melbourne and Brisbane in the NBL. Now playing his trade at the Bullets. Here's DJ. Here's Cotton for three. Still can't hit from downtown. 3 tries tonight for Bryce and hasn't connected on one. But they're not letting Brisbane get away at the moment, the Wildcats. Sobey somehow got rid of that to White. Finds Bannon underneath, not quite. Just get the feeling this game's going to be a real grind down the stretch. A game of execution and limiting mistakes. Both sides have been locked in.
And Bannon now 10 points, 5 of 7. Doing a phenomenal job for the Bullets. Makes the first, takes his tally up to 11 right now.
As you can see on your screen, the last couple of matches between these two teams have gone the distance and then some. So we could be a chance of free basketball this evening. If history's any guide, couple go at the line for Bannon, who's had a good evening. Second NBL game, 12 points, 5 of 7 shooting. I would love to see that. Pinder out there with Doolittle, Usher, Webster, and Cotton at the moment. Bannon's involved on the glass as well. Isaac White trying to lead this second unit at the moment for Brisbane with Mitchell, Smith, McDaniel and Bannon. Here is Chris Smith underneath to Bannon. Takes some contact from Pinder. He'll go to the stripe again.
He just gets to the right spot. You know, nothing too flashy. He's not jumping above the rim right now, but he's just getting himself to great receiver spots. Good penetration right there from Chris Smith, and could have taken the shot himself. You see him rip baseline and pull up and under, and you like the work rate right now from Josh Bannon.
They're a -7 on the glass again so far, the Wildcats. It was an issue for them last year in a big way, Rowdy. It continues to be this season.
Yeah, it's crazy to think about. You look at the athletes and long athletic players they've got in the front court. How during games do they get manhandled on the boards every night? It's sort of, you scratch your head at it a little bit, but I think it's the physical players that they play against who's given up another offensive board on a free throw, which is a coach killer. The drives coach is absolutely crazy, but
nice move from Isaac White.
They've got to do just the basics. Box out the bigger fellas, get after the offensive rebound. You think back to Perth and all their championships, and what did they do better than anyone? They attacked the offensive glass. They got themselves extra possessions offensively, and this team just hasn't quite bought into that.
Little 8-2 run to push this margin back out to 10. It's getting worrying again for the Wildcats. Justin Schuler wanted that to go back in blue, but it'll stay in red.
You're spot on, Rowdy. I think it's the desire to want to box out, hit first, be tough on the defensive end, and you know, some of the old wise players. You got Jesse Wagstaff on the bench, who phenomenal career and still got.
Oh, Rocco takes it away from Saar, and again making his presence felt. That's the battle we wanted to see.
Yeah, beautiful job from Rocco right there, using all
4,032
centimetres.
222 for Rocco, 216 for Saar. Couple of big boys going at it. Smith on the other end. Big hit. A massive Mitsubishi Motors 3 from Chris Smith. Pushes the lead out to 13. We're excited to have Mitsubishi Motors back this season. Of course, fans celebrating in stadium with the Mitsubishi Motors foam hands, a range of prizes up for grabs every week, and I'll certainly love that from Chris Smith.
And that's a good effort there by Rocco again. Gets his hand on it in deflection, tries to keep it in bounds. A little unlucky that deflects straight to a Perth Wildcats player, but the activity on the defensive end is certainly something NBA scouts are going to be watching.
White goes inside and he's fouled on the way through. Here's the Harvey Norman replay of the two next stars going at it.
How do you like it?
And he has it pinched and he goes in for some more.
Come over for dinner to the block party and have some meatloaf, young fella.
Rocco handed him up a big serving. Still only 17 years of age, which is just astonishing for Rocco Zikarsky. Every time I look at that, I just cannot believe it. Such an exciting prospect. And so too is Alex Saar. Some mock drafts up to as high as number 2 now for the Frenchman. Of course, his brother Olivier playing with the OKC Thunder in the NBA. Chris Smith again from outside. He's fouled this time. Red Army not loving that. Hiram Harris takes the call. And Smith will step to the stripe. And John really wants to talk it over and have a look at the replay on the call. So it's an 11-point lead as it stands for the Bullets. It was as many as 15 in the opening term. Perth got it back to single digits in a big way in that second period. And now the Bullets have opened up a gap once more. We'll take a look at the foul call. Hiram Harris on Chris Smith. You might be best placed to walk us through this, Rowdy, given your shooting prowess of 94 of 100 earlier today. What do you see there?
Oh, if you miss a shot, you definitely get fouled. I don't see a lot of contact up high. Trying to look at maybe it gets into his body or his landing space, but
part of it is they're going to have to see enough to overturn it.
Yeah, it doesn't seem like there's much contact, but benefit of doubt to the shooters as always. Come on, take care of us.
Yeah, I'd love to say I fall into that category, but not a whole lot.
I'm looking at your percentages this, not just this season, the last few.
I've just been watching too many of your highlights, Rowdy. Don't be modest. You're the most watched thing on YouTube.
After review, the coach's challenge is unsuccessful. The call on the floor stands. We have 3 shots to Brisbane.
So a couple haven't gone the way of the challenging teams tonight. That won't please John really all that much. So Chris Smith to the line for 3 free throws. Let's get courtside to Damien Martin.
Yeah, referees always protecting the offensive player. The poor defenders never get anything going their way. And you just been speaking about Rocco Zikarsky. I've got to know him pretty well of late. I feel like a proud dad watching what he's doing out there right now. But I want to throw it back to you guys in the studio. The last 3 minutes of each quarter, I consider to be clutch. Like, that is crunch time every single game. What would you expect to see from a Nathan Sobey at one end and maybe an Usher with this lineup at the other? Because momentum going into the fourth, I think, will determine who wins this game.
Yeah, you're right, Damo. I think Sobey, is a prime example. You get him on that left side of the floor. We've seen it a few times. He gets that little punch screen or side-on ball action. He's been looking to come off that and penetrate and get downhill. Typically, we know Sobes to prefer his left hand, but he's been playing on both sides of the floor right now, and I think that's the hardest thing to guard about him. But Bryce Cotton for Perth, you've got to get the ball in his hands, as you spoke about before. Get the bigs in it, do little Saar, let them go to work, set some great screens, roll and drag that defense, and let Bryce go and create some really good offense for the Perth Wildcats.
11-0 run has it at a 14-point game here. 60-46. Great to have the thoughts of Mitch Creek. Alongside Ryan Brockhoff, Corey Webster tries to answer back.
interesting mix-up there from Brisbane going into a 2-3 zone, trying to junk up these last few minutes, maintain this lead, throw a different look at Perth, who have struggled to shoot the ball from outside.
1 of 12, Rowdy. That man hasn't struggled. Sobey strokes it, and Brisbane out by 17.
It also doesn't hurt. Oh, they've gone out of the zone now, but having Big Rocco sitting in the middle of that zone, protecting the rim.
It's a nice change-up, though, just to see Justin Schuller throw something different at this Perth defence. Nathan Sobey mentioned earlier he was 0 of 6 against the South East Melbourne Phoenix last week. He just couldn't buy one. And he's had a better shooting night tonight. He's got 15. He's still only 3 of 10 from the field, but he's 7 of 9 at the stripe. I mentioned the importance of these last couple of minutes, and Bryce Cotton's back out there. He's got the ball in his hand. Hiram Harris out there with him, the Kiwi, alongside Corey Webster, Jordan Usher and Christian Doolittle. TJ Mitchell, Josh Bannon, Nathan Sobey, Sam McDaniel and Chris Smith, the lineup that Justin Schuler's running with.
And a little away action right now, just off the sideline. You see Bryce on the opposite corner. Harris will go down, set that pin down.
Here is Cotton, weaving his way inside, offloading to Usher. Bannon pulls it down again for the Bullets.
Another unsung hero for Brisbane has been Sam McDaniel. His defense on Cotton, we talk about Cotton missing shots, not being effective offensively, but watch Sam coming, busting through screens on defense, making it hard on Cotton, and then that last possession.
Oh, Chris Smith makes it a 20-point game.
It is just blown out quickly, but defensively, Sam McDaniel's getting stops, and the offense is finally starting to click for Brisbane and hitting some shots from outside.
A 17-0 run. Webster answers it.
Oh, he needed that one. Chris Smith almost hit the roof with that one.
That was Alan Williams-esque, floating it up there. Sobey gets inside, gets the call.
Once again, Sobey just downhill on his left hand. He's so strong. Feels a little bit of contact from that defense. Leans in, knows that foul's coming, and sends himself right back to the free throw line.
He's lived there tonight, Nathan Sobey.
It's a great lesson for young guards, young athletic, explosive guards, being able to use your body, draw fouls, get yourself to the free throw line. We've spoken about it. He hasn't shot well from the field tonight, but being able to tick over the scoreboard on at the free throw line and being able to draw fouls, that's a skill in itself.
And that's what Sobey's done over the last couple of years, and those injuries have played a little bit of hampering on what he's able to do, but you're right, he's healthy now, he's getting downhill, he's explosive again, he's playing at a very high level, and big reason why Brisbane are up by 20. 1.5 to go in the third.
So it's been an impressive run here for the Bullets. Webster floats that one home and banks it in. We've seen the change-ups from Justin Schuller, but just the way he's prepared his team this evening, they came out ready to go. It's been a really impressive coaching performance from the first-year Bullets head coach.
Defensively, they've been great. 50 points for always. That shot misses, but again, offensive rebound. They haven't been able to secure the boards all night, all season long, Perth, but defensively, 50 points for Perth, almost a three-quarter time is a great defensive effort.
Plus 11 on the glass now, Brisbane.
Speaking of defensive efforts, Bryce again, really impressed with his effort defensively, staying in front of Sobey, who we've talked about. He's explosive again, forcing a turnover.
Thought about it for a moment. Corey Webster leans in. Doolittle bides his time, then had it poked away. Outside to Usher. Still can't get one to go from there. Sobey keeps it alive. Great hustle. Smith will just fire away.
2-for-1 action there, trying to get 2 offensive possessions, so they give up another offensive rebound.
We need a reset.
Absolutely staggering, the fact that they just keep getting drilled on the offensive glass.
And it's not like Brisbane at the moment have a big lineup in, or an athletic lineup. Just workhorses, get to the right spot. Bannon, DJ Mitchell, they're just outworking Perth on the boards.
You just want to try and hit someone on every possession. We try and call it a cash and a check, but right now you got to hit a body. You got to really make sure they can't get off the ground first. You've got to go and hit somebody and take a stand right now.
Rebounding doesn't come down to skill. It doesn't even come down to how high you can jump. It's who wants it more, who's willing to outwork, get position and fight for it.
Single numbers on the shot clock. What can Sobey create? Offloads to Smith, and he's called for an offensive foul. Nathan Sobey couldn't believe the call. No foul trouble for the Brisbane Star, though. Mitch Norton's got 3. Tyrell Harrison's got 3 for the Bullets. They've led by as many as 20. Off the back of a 17-2 run earlier in the term for the Brisbane Bullets. Ty Webster's back out there. They'll hand it over to Bryce. They need a bucket going into three-quarter time, and Cotton delivers. When you need him most, he's always there. And he's going to have to be there a lot more here in this final term for the Perth Wildcats, that man.
He spoke at halftime. He had a beautiful interview by Bryce. He's really that Renaissance man. He takes in all the information. He's calm. You know, he doesn't expect too much of everybody else all the time. He understands that he can be the guy that leads by example, but he's just so poised when he's out there. And even when he's not, you know, dropping 24 a game and having the highlights we were used to seeing, he's creating offense, he's creating defense, he's got his hands on everything, and it's just beautiful to watch an athlete of that level.
The prayer goes unanswered for the Bullets, but they're in control at three-quarter time. The Wildcats are going to need something very special from here. Brisbane lead at three-quarter time by 16. No shortage of work to do for the Wildcats here in this final term. The Bullets took control after the gap was only 6 at halftime. It is now 16 points. Nathan Sobey has been leading the way, and the Wildcats shooting 7% from downtown, 1 of 14. And if the pressure wasn't on that man, John Riley, coming into tonight, had the likes of Derek Rucker saying on the moments that mattered, it was season over for the loser. Well, this is going to have to be An absolute mountain climbed by Perth in this final period. If they are to pull this one out of the fire at home. Ty Webster goes straight to work out of three-quarter time. That's the start they drew up. How do they claw their way back here, the Cats? Mitch Creek and Ryan Brockhoff.
Oh, I just think you've really got to execute defensively more so than offensively. You can't get, offensive rebound after offensive rebound. Brisbane doing a great job moving the ball, crashing the O-glass, and Perth just aren't boxing out. You start on the defensive end, you build pace in transition. You trust that man to keep shooting, but you just got to play with energy and effort right now. Without that, there's no hope, but you want to see that fight from the Wildcats right now.
1 of 15 from downtown. Ty Webster tries to line one up, make it 1 of 16. They'll get another look. Cotton from downtown, make it 1 of 17.
May not have got the result they wanted. Obviously, a Bryce Cotton airball is something we're not used to seeing. But Doolittle's activity at the offensive end, they've gone big. Doolittle at the 3. They've got Pinder and Saar at the 4-5. They're obviously trying to rectify some rebounding, create some extra opportunities offensively. Because they're not shooting the ball, they may as well try and rebound it.
Sam McDaniel with a big hit at the other end to make it all the more difficult.
Played an amazing role tonight, doing an amazing job on Bryce Cotton, making everything as hard as he possibly can. He's a big, long guard, he's strong, gets in the right spots, normally out of the mid-range, but when he gets his feet set in a good look, he's a great, capable three-point shooter.
The defence has been their calling card so far this season, Brisbane, and we spoke pre-game as Pinder takes it all the way inside. We spoke pre-game about who was going to step up. We probably geared it toward the offensive end, but as you say, Craigie, Sam McDaniel's performance at that end of the floor has been outstanding.
Yeah, absolutely. And look, 7 points right now, not jumping off the stat sheet with 4 rebounds. Only 1 steal to his name, but it's the efficiency right now. It's the effectiveness, the plus-minus. He's one of the leading contributors on the floor for Brisbane right now, and a big reason why they're up.
And up by as many as 20 in that third period off the back of a 17-2 run. Saar scooting his way inside. Some crafty footwork from the big man.
A bit of excitement from the crowd. Get the crowd involved, get the momentum. There's tens of thousands of people there tonight. Get them involved, find a way, and lean off their energy into this fourth quarter and try and make this comeback.
Haven't seen David Aquera, haven't seen Jesse Wagstaff, haven't seen Ben Henschel again for the Wildcats tonight, as Harrison had that one poked out of the cylinder. Saar's frustrated by that. That's what happens when your arms are just too long.
And you're right on it, Rowdy. The crowd's not into it. They're a little quiet, and typically these Perth teams known for making a lot of threes. They get the energy going in transition. They've got great set plays, and big players are making big threes. And when you're 1 of 17, it's a little hard to cheer and get off your seats. But see 1 or 2 of these go down, momentum can shift over in Perth very quickly.
Ty Webster, Doolittle, Cotton, Saar and Pinder out there for them at the moment. Pinder thought about it, puts it on the floor. Cross-court pass to Doolittle. That is as close as you'll go.
Is that their night tonight or what?
That is a visual representation of the Wildcats' evening. Around and out and back into Brisbane hands. And at the other end, Brisbane's made every post a winner. As Harrison's called for the walk. They scored 73 points in defeat last week, Brisbane. But their defensive effort tonight has been turned up. And they've really come out with a vengeance. And really from minute 1, they looked ready to go tonight.
They did. Defensively, it's just been a grind for Perth. And we saw this last year from Perth. They weren't great defensively throughout the season, but they could score the ball at such a rate. They've really struggled as they finally get one from outside to go. And Pinder, it's Pinder of all players, been stepping up and hitting that shot. Maybe this can get the crowd involved, finally get some momentum their way.
2 of 19 on the evening now from outside the Perth Wildcats. Just has not been their evening. McDaniel in the corner, trying to answer back. Doolittle with some activity. So much talent in this Perth team, you can just never rule them out. Soaring over the top, trying to pull down the rebound was Hiram Harris. He's really brought some energy to what they have put out there tonight.
At least there's some emotion, some energy, as you said. Go to the Harvey Norman replay. There we go. We finally get one from outside, and Pinder lets the fans know and gets them on their feet.
The masked man knocking it in from downtown. So 12-point lead to the Bullets, 5:55 remaining in the ball game. What would John really be dialing up at this timeout, do you think, Mitch Creek?
It's one of those huddles where, you know, you've made a bit of a run. It's back to 12. It was out a little bit further, near 20 points, but you've reeled it back in. You've got a few stops. You've pushed in transition. Bryce Cotton downhill on his right hand. This is a kind of easy one in transition, but you like the intent that Perth have right now. Defensively, they need to get stops. They need to hit on box outs. They need to box out. If they do that, they can really slow this Brisbane Bullets offense down. But right now, Brisbane are looking the goods.
They don't really need to do much differently. The Bullets, to what they've done so far tonight, shooting at 46% from the field. 31 rebounds to 22. So they've been dominant at that end. Had the 12 turnovers, but it hasn't cost them too much, and they've got a 12-point lead at the moment. So the Wildcats with some ground to make up. They trail by 12 at 73-61. Joel Peterson, Mitch Creek, Ryan Brockhoff with you. Damien Martin courtside, Perth Wildcats legend. And this crowded RAC Arena in the jungle. The Red Army are restless at the moment. Their team's trying to force their way back in. Oh, Harrison with a monstrous dunk!
Oh, my God.
With strength and brute force.
Fresh legs. Get a couple fouls early, Rowdy. You got fresh legs for that second half. What a play.
He knew what he was doing the whole time.
He moved heaven and earth to get there, and Pinder knocks down the triple on the other end.
Keanu Pinder said, you know what, 2's good, but 3's better.
Up to 19 now, Pinder, coming off 17 and 13 last time out. He's keeping their hopes up at the moment, and he's active on the loose ball there. Have a look at Tyrell Harrison. This is a grown man move.
Has it? How about that? Lets him know.
Pinder says, well, you can do that at one end. I'll take you outside at the other. Cotton with the rebound.
So that's really good by Perth, forcing a difficult contested three and finishing with the defensive rebound to get out in transition, get their offense going.
Corey Webster leans into one, and all of a sudden it's back to single figures.
Okay. Thanks for letting me know.
And there is still plenty of time as we get the snooze timeout from Justin Schuler. 66-75. This Wildcats team, full of talent, full of shot making. You just can't rule them out.
They can put up points in a hurry. So good timeout here from Schuler. Settle the troops, make some subs, get Sobey back in and involved. It's been a quick little run from Perth, and the momentum's all on their side. So timeout, cut that. Let's get an offensive set. Schuler draw up something good for the playmakers, and hopefully get that momentum back.
And you love the aggression right here from Webster, from Cotton. Cotton's been great tonight. You know, he's missed a few shots. We've talked about that a lot, but it's the playmaking ability. He sees there's a lot of help defenders coming over to try and take away his space, and he's making the extra pass for his teammates. He's letting the boys step up right now, and they're making plays. And Corey Webster, he's no introduction. That man can certainly knock down a shot or two, and he's taken over late in the fourth here.
Absolutely. Of course, Indigenous round will take place in round 6. So next weekend, the rich history of Aboriginal Torres Strait Islander peoples will be celebrated and recognised. All 10 teams will wear Indigenous jerseys designed by the Indigenous artists, with each uniform featuring strong, deep and meaningful stories in terms of connection to country, and a great way to recognise not only the contribution of Aboriginal Torres Strait people to the game of basketball, but society more general as well. And both the Brisbane and Perth jerseys look sensational. Really eye-catching stuff, and all 10 teams have done a great job again this season. 9-point game, Perth on the comeback trail and on the offensive end. What can Corey Webster deliver? Pinder's got the hot hand, and they're just going to ride it all the way inside as he gets to the stripe, and he will shoot 2 free throws. Let's go courtside to Damian Martin.
I listened in to John really in the Perth Wildcats, and JR just kept reiterating, we're right in this, and encourages guys that when it comes to playing defense on the block, we're going to play one out when they post up on us. They didn't want to see rotations and then potentially give up an O-board, and Keanu Pinder has been amazing. You keep mentioning the Red Army. You know, for the first 3.5 quarters of the game, the Wildcats have been like the person who invented zero. They've given them nothing, but now they are just off the back of Pinder, starting to create some energy. They want to get out off their seats, and I think Pinder's the man to do it.
He splits them at the line. And it's an 8-point spread. It's been as many as 20. It was 16 at three-quarter time. The Wildcats clawed their way back in the second. They've done it again here in the last. And they've got 4 minutes to mount a challenge and a comeback, and they take control of the rock.
Bryce Cotton again, great hands there, gets a deflection, creates an opportunity for Perth.
Harris wants to get it to Cotton. He's out there with Doolittle, Pinder, Corey Webster, and at the moment, and a clash of bodies.
So do I. Exactly the same problem.
Norton's a little bit sore.
Well, I just thought he was blocking out, but if you want to take a look at it in terms of to get cross the T's and dot the I's, yes,
I think so.
For C1. Replay centre, we've got a normal foul on Norton for walking underneath. We just want to see if it's an upgradable foul for no playing the ball.
So there you go, beautifully executed by Vaughan Mabry, taking you right inside the game here in the Hungry Jacks NBL. I'll take a look at this to see whether this needs to be upgraded. So it's on the secondary element. Norton getting underneath Keanu Pinder. Looks like Norton was on his way down as well.
Yeah, it looked like he was going for the box out, bumped into his own teammate, lost balance, and those can be scary though. It's probably
8 wide. Who's the shooter?
So it has been upgraded. So accidental contact, but still falls into the category of a dangerous act. So it's going to be Keanu Pinder to the line.
The main thing is it's dangerous.
A little unfortunate if you Mitch Norton. You're in the wrong place at the wrong time, but you've got to look after the players, and that's a scary one. You've got the big man coming down on Mitch Norton there. Glad they both got away. No one hurt.
See Mitch chatting to Bryce Cotton. Long-time teammates, of
Best
course.
Mates, hey?
Just asking about real estate prices in Perth and that kind of thing, I'm sure.
Creaky, are you one of those players that can have a bit of a laugh on the court with an opposition player that you've been a teammate with, or you, as soon as you cross that line, your enemies, you're going at each other, and once you're off the court, shake hands, go have a beer, whatever it is?
I think it's as soon as the game starts, maybe in the jump ball or, you know, sideline or halftime or whatever it is coming out of a quarter, I think I can say a few little words, but for the most part, I try and, you know, I walk on those 4 white lines, and I try and have this image shift where I go from, you know, lighthearted and fun and my normal self of being pretty goofy to, you know, serious mode. This is it. Let's go to war with the soldiers. So it's a fine line you got to walk, but
yeah, it's an interesting one because all different players have all different feels and approaches to the game. But it's always interesting for me to find out from professionals like yourself, someone that seems very focused when he's on the court, whether you can kind of slip in and out, or if it's kind of a mindset as soon as you jump on that court, I'm here to dominate you. We may be best mates off the court, but tonight it's not your night.
Yeah, you're right. Look, typically it's always fun having to talk to people in the crowd and seeing old coaches and other people sitting there talking a little bit of trash to you. I remember being in Adelaide, I was talking to Joey right on the side, and he reminded me about how I stole his Yabby pump of all things one time in his shed and hit it, and he couldn't go camping the next day. So, poor fella, but you have a bit of a laugh and you have a bit of a yarn, so it's always good spirits.
You can't take the lid off it on the offensive end. Perth again.
34.
It's a foul on Chris Smith. They had a couple of looks to make it inside 6 points. 11-2 run at the moment for the Perth Wildcats to surge their way back into this ball game.
We've spent nothing but effort and energy and getting on the offensive rebound and creating extra shots. They haven't shot the ball well all night, and not in this fourth quarter either. They've hit a couple of threes and made some plays, but it's about finding extra shots, and that's what happens. He's very good at drawing those fouls to the jump shots.
This is a dangerous point. I know Damo spoke about this before, but you put this man at the line, he's one man. You cannot put him there. The offense is coming straight to him. He's going to see a couple go down here. We can trust he's going to make both in a row. I'm not going to jinx him right here, Rowdy.
It's dangerous territory you're playing in, Creaky. He knocks down the first.
In a 5-point game, just like that, it's offensively, Brisbane have just stalled. They have not looked dangerous at that end of the floor in minutes.
Round and out on the second for Bryce Cotton. So at least you're not alone, Rowdy, in the Moz Stakes.
Sorry, Bryce.
Great to have MBB finalist Mitch Creek and from restrained Boomer and South East Melbourne star Ryan Brockhoff with us this evening. Damien Martin, the man, the Defensive Player of the Year trophy is named after in the NBL courtside. Second game of Friday night doubleheader. Melbourne United staying top of the table earlier tonight. Big weekend of NBL action coming your way, and a big finish here in the jungle. Sobey around the corner to Bannon, couldn't get it to go. And the energy and the intensity has lifted both of this Wildcats team and their fans.
Now the fans starting to come into it. You can hear them cheering.
Even those domesticated animals along the side of the bench are looking pretty wild at the moment, Creaky.
Yeah, he's got some characters in the crowd.
Not a good foul there, sending Bryce to the free throw line, fouling him at half court. A couple easy shots for him. Just keep reducing, chipping away at this lead. As we have a look at the boys,
here they are.
Yeah, domesticated cats, kiss knockoffs.
Bit of Halloween action.
What other animals have we got in the crowd? Can we find the cameramen and women got
I saw the cardboard Peppa Pig cutout before.
Peppa Pig?
On a free throw. 3-point game. 75-72. Brisbane have ground to a halt. 20-7 final quarter for the Wildcats so far. Smith tries his luck, won't go. Pinder pulls down a big rebound. They can tie it up on this possession.
Here come the Red Army.
It's been an onslaught so far. Cotton to continue it. Pinder rips it away, and Harrison takes it away from him. But they just need to execute here, Brisbane.
I think every Perth fan thought that one was going in from Bryce just then.
2:25 remaining. If you're Justin Schuller now, Rowdy, what on earth are you thinking?
How can I find an easy bucket? Maybe look, Perth have gone bigger, so they're switching a lot of stuff. Doolittle's got Sobey here so they can switch on balls, trying to keep some size and length in front of him. What's the play? Is it this ISO trying to just great movement there.
Beautiful pass from Sobey to find Bannon, who lays it in.
And Creaky was talking about it. He finds the right seam to get into that the pass can find him. He can get on the rim. Great defensive play. That's huge. 2 big possessions for Brisbane there.
Broke an 11-0 run for the Bullets. 5-point Brisbane lead for the Wildcats, I should say. That 11-0 run. Harrison forces his way in again.
He's been good tonight. The minutes he's had, he's been phenomenal. Patient footwork, using his size and his strength.
Couple of big possessions for Brisbane.
that's probably the next bit in development with Sark, just playing against physical men down low in the post. He's got to be able to use his body a little bit better, stay down on fakes, make Harrison finish over the top. And maybe a little travel there under the rim.
Yeah, may I have this dance, please, sir? Doesn't matter, 2's 2. Nathan Sobey was pumped up at the other end of the floor as well. So the snooze timeout with 1:47 remaining, 7-point ball game, and all of a sudden, Brisbane have just got a little bit of momentum and a little bit of spark back. Nathan Sobey is going to be so critical to it all down the stretch here. Keanu Pinder leads all scorers with 22. Sobey's had 17. Bannon's 15. Harrison's got 10 on 5 of 7 shooting. Chris Smith with 14, including a couple of big shots in that third period. Only the 2 Wildcats in double digits. Keanu Pinder 7 of 13, and Bryce Cotton, who is 3 of 18 from the field. He is 0 of 7 from downtown, but he's got 10 points. He's got 3 rebounds, 5 assists, 3 steals, and a block. So he's done a little bit of everything.
Yeah, he's done an amazing job at finding a way to contribute. He's given his team a chance. Can't keep a good man down for long. But
we heard Tyler Harvey last night say, I couldn't hit anything for the first 3 quarters, and he still came up and hit the game winner.
Yeah, don't let this game get close and ball in the hands of Bryce at the end of the game.
Oh, no. That's the Bullets' worst nightmare. So 1:47 remaining, 7-point game. Doolittle, Corey Webster, Cotton, Sarr and Pinder out there for the Wildcats. They come up empty, but Brisbane lose the rock. And which way is this going to go? It'll be a Brisbane ball. There's been a nervous second there. But clearly last touch by Pinder.
I love the effort there from Tyrell Harrison again, putting his body first to the floor. Wins the 50-50 ball there, and that's a big possession for Brisbane.
He has been good, Creek, in this minutes. Only 12 minutes, 10 points. We said it from the top. He could be a difference maker with his size and length as they're going back to review this one more time. Yeah, I think that's pretty clearly Brisbane ball, although I have been wrong before.
You're not going to be wrong on that one, Rowdy, that's for sure.
Oh boy.
It's going back the other way. That's a sloppy turnover. Couldn't get it across.
Not sure why there wasn't a fresh 24 on that one. Have to check on the old Bluetooth headset and listen carefully.
You guys wait a second. We're going to check it?
You guys are sorting it out. Let's do it.
We're going to talk about it.
I've got them grabbing the ball on the rebound and then it goes out of bounds on the worst possession. So
Yes.
22 is correct. Yep. And then the shot clock's fine. So
And it started at 1:39, so the last 7 seconds. So that's right.
Yeah, that's right.
That's right.
No, stop.
No one had possession on that amount. Replay center.
So I've got you guys grabbing the ball down on limbs and no one had possession.
Sure? Hey, slowly deflecting it out.
Yeah.
So Justin Schuller talking it over with Vaughan Mabry and the referees.
And then it's kicked out.
Heard the explanation.
No, he did after the rebound.
Anyway, fuck, we're going
It'll stay a Perth ball. 1:30 remaining. 7-point game. Perth have been down by as many as 20. Cotton for 3. Zero of 8 for Bryce. But they're not going anywhere, the Wildcats. Foul at midcourt.
You like the pressure from Perth here. They've only had the 1 foul, 2 right now. They've got a few to give so they can ramp up this pressure, try and create a little bit of chaos for the Bullets and try and reel back in this 7-point margin.
Yeah, just generate extra possessions. The only way they're going to get back into this is create extra possessions, speed the game up, force Brisbane into either turnovers or quick shots, so they've got enough chances to get back into this game with only 1:17 left on the clock.
They've only won 1 of their past 9 at RAC Arena. The Brisbane Bullets. Perth won the only game they played there last year. Brisbane have won the past 2 between the teams. They're both 2 and 4. They came in 7th and 8th. They both desperately needed a win. And Brisbane have got the upper hand late in the game. Here's Nathan Sobey trying to create. He's fouled. Minute 3 remaining. And that tension that's been in this building all night just starts to rise again. They haven't led at any stage tonight, the Wildcats. Would be one pulled out of the fire if they can do it. Chris Smith's got single numbers on the shot clock to work with. Guarded by Cotton. Takes it inside and is fouled.
It's great for him not to settle on the three-point, dance around with the ball. You see a lot of guards these days settle for that contested three. When you got the lead, get the head on the rim, get free throws. Although it stops the clock, it slows the game down. Gets you some easy points so you can keep ticking the scoreboard over, put the pressure back on Perth.
So tough position for the Wildcats to be in, but what kind of scenarios are you thinking about now as a player in these last 53, 54 seconds?
You've got to understand that as quick shots win the game right now. Defensively, you've got to be up, you've got to be pressuring if you're Perth. So right now you're going to get down, you've got a quick offense. Maybe a little up the court terror screen. Try and free up one of your shooters, maybe even a Bryce Cotton, draw some attention. Any basket's a good one. Get a score, and then you got to go full court press, go for the steal, the first 1 or 2. Then you might have to start fouling the weakest free throw shooters and putting them on the line and playing the free throw possession game.
So Sam McDaniel comes in, so they're going offense, defense, the Bullets.
I think that's the important point. It doesn't have to always be a 3, it's just a score. You've got to keep that scoreboard ticking over quickly, just as they've done. Now put the press on, go for that steal. If you foul, send someone who's a bad free throw shooter. Someone maybe like Mitch Norton, who's not the best shooter, is not bad, but great.
Oh, they're going to get it back. Doolittle takes it away. Ty Webster, not quite. But a good result for the Wildcats. And Webster will go to the line.
Almost disastrous for Brisbane there. A turnover and then almost a three-point play opportunity there. That's one. I don't know about you, Creaky, but I may be just pulling out of that. Maybe giving him the layup and just keeping the clock running.
Yeah, it's a fine line whether you make the foul, put him at the line and earn him, and set your offense and defense both ways and gamble it there, or do you just let him have it and inbound it quickly and try and push the pace the other way and get over half court knowing the traps are coming?
I'm also saying if you're going to foul, it can't be one where he gets the ball up and has a three-point play opportunity. That's the one that really kills you.
What a time to go to the free throw line for the first time all season. Ty Webster has not shot from the stripe this season, and he makes 2 of 2.
I'm a fan of the hair. I like it.
I don't know if one's come loose at the back or he's gone the rat tail and the 2 sides.
Little Jedi strip out the back from Ty Webster. So 5-point ball game, 81-76. We spoke right at the top about who was going to support Nathan Sobey for this Bullets team. Well, he's done plenty of it himself, as he always does, as the star of the show. 17 points scoring, but also creating and setting the table.
Yeah, he's phenomenal. He's in MVP form right now. You know, a few more wins and he's right up there in contention, I think. And his ability to play both ends of the court, you can see he's an emotional leader. He's a physical leader. He can shoot the ball, creates a little bit of separation. Going to his left, he loves that little step back. 17 points, only 3 of 11, but got to the foul line tonight. 9 of 11. Nearly 82%, 6 rebounds, 2 assists. Phenomenal game from Nathan Sobey so far, but you got to close it out. One more stop defensively, take care of it, go to the free throw line, win the game, go home happy.
Gee, to be a big win for Brisbane if they can pull this off.
It will be huge for their season, huge for their confidence, and knowing that they've at least got Baines coming back soon. I know Scott's missing for a few weeks, but get the big fella back. He just settles them down defensively and in the interior and gives them more of a scoring threat on inside.
So, of course, no Aaron Baines, no Shannon Scott. We know that Shannon Scott's a little bit of a longer-term proposition with that hamstring, so back in round 8, Shannon Scott. So they've got Tassie on Sunday, the Brisbane Bullets. And Harrison goes in right at the rim again.
And that's a beautiful ATO timeout play from Schuller.
Yeah, I think Perth expecting them to, as steps into a 3, expecting them to just get the ball in bounds. Oh, that's another one. Just get the ball in bounds and chew up some clock, but got one easily on the basket. And Tyrell just putting up a nice game in just a few minutes.
Yeah, you're right. 13 minutes, 12 points, 6 of 8 from the field. An amazing job on both ends, and definitely took the challenge to start tonight, and great learning curve for the next star on his way to the NBA. Very exciting prospect, but
look pretty happy on the Bullets bench, don't they?
Yeah, it's a good time to be a Bullet right now.
Absolutely. So yeah, Tassie on Sunday, and then they play the Phoenix and the Jack Jumpers next round. And then Sydney and Perth, and Shannon Scott returns after that next Perth fixture. Norton misses the second, but it stays in Bullet's hands again. Bannon pulls down the rebound.
The game may be out of reach, but yeah, that's one. Even if there's a slim chance of a comeback, you've got to secure that rebound on a free throw. We're pulling your hair out looking back at these games.
Yeah, these are the ones that it comes down to the box outs. It comes down to the offensive rebounding for me, and I think that, you know, Perth will look at this and say, look, our offense wasn't really clicking tonight, but defensively they kind of let themselves down in a few areas, and a little bit of that toughness needs to come back into the group and gel together. And I think some of the leaders like the Jesse Wagstaff and some of these young guys, the Harris boys, going to come in and play some big minutes if they keep this form up.
It's going to be red hot in the West this week, that is for sure.
Maybe send the Perth fans home happy if he misses this. Get some burgers to.
At least, their appetites will be satisfied. The code word is coach, which might be fitting for the Perth Wildcats fans this week. I think the code word in Perth will be coach this week.
Oh, geez, that's
as Webster misses from downtown. 4 seconds remaining. Here's Corey Webster. Gets a 3 to finish, but that's a massive win for the Brisbane Bullets.
Hang on.
They go to Perth, undermanned, and they pull out a big victory.
I'm just waiting to see if there's any time.
84-79 as they review the clock to see if there's time left, but it will only be a fraction.
Timeout.
Justin Schuller wants to talk it over nonetheless.
Cricky, what does this do to Perth's season? Obviously in a tough position, going to go down in this game. What do you see for their outlook going forward? Talented roster, they can put it together, but have they dug themselves too big of a hole?
Well, as the teams go into the snooze timeout, it's one of those things that, you know, you've really got to form together and take a big look at yourselves and each other and have some honest conversations. You know, a few things I've got to work on tonight, but all things that can be fixed with a little bit of teamwork and a little bit of honest talk.
Speaking of teamwork, what about the Southeast Melbourne Phoenix at the moment? There's a good feeling in the camp. The New Zealand Breakers come to town coming off a loss on Thursday night. Teacher Appreciation Day tomorrow at John Cain Arena, and then the nightcap is the Taipans and the Kings. The Snakes coming off that narrow loss, and the Sydney Kings coming back into things in round 5 of the Hungry Jacks NBL. Looking forward to going into battle against the Breakers tomorrow, Creepy.
Yeah, absolutely. Teacher Appreciation Round. Shout out to my favourite high school teacher, Squizzy Taylor, aka Red Dog. You're an absolute legend. We don't get to catch up very often going back to Horsham, but yeah, it's always nice going home, and we haven't played New Zealand just yet, so looking forward to matching up against them.
They come up empty on the final possession, the Bullets, but it does not matter. It's a big win for Brisbane on the road in Perth without 2 of their stars. The Bullets pull one out by 5, and they pile the pressure on Perth, whose season sinks to 2-5, a 4-game losing streak for the Wildcats. And that man and his team are under all kinds of pressure now, if they weren't already. That's a big win from Brisbane, Rowdy.
It is, and it's just stunned silence at RAC Arena. You can hear a pin drop in there tonight, but full credit to Brisbane. Great game plan, executed it well defensively, keeping a team like that to 17 points. was it 79 points, and our Foot Locker player of the game, Nathan Sobey. Great effort.
Led them superbly again, did Nathan Sobey. 17 points, didn't have his best shooting night, but did enough to will his team across the line, and that is a victory that they will remember. And Mitch Norton is right at the centre of it in his return to Perth as well. They'll be so happy with what they've done, and the Wildcats, on the other hand, there's going to be plenty of questions asked, and it looks like the debrief is already beginning before they even hit the locker rooms. This Perth team this evening, there'll be some conversations long into the night and throughout the week. And Corey Webster is animated as he speaks to his team in the aftermath of a disappointing loss. 84-79, the Bullets win a big one. We'll be back to break it all down in a moment. Well, Tyrell Harrison and the Brisbane Bullets, they just overpowered the Perth Wildcats tonight. A 5-point win, 84-79, their first since the opening couple of weeks of the season. And John really, figuratively and literally, left scratching his head. A big win for the Bullets in Perth, 84-79. A lot of work for the Wildcats today, Mitch Creek.
Yeah, they definitely do. And there's some sad faces we're seeing right now, but they've got to stay the course. They've got to understand it's a long season, and they've got to start sacrificing a little bit of themselves for the benefit of the group. And I think Bryce Cotton tonight, we didn't see him have the star-studded performance, only 3 and 19, but it's some of the other guys about getting him the ball in the right places, everyone creating for each other, but defensively, that's where it is for me. The effort's not there, the physicality's not there, and they need to step up, and someone needs to take the lead there.
How do you respond to a night like this, Rowdy, if you're the Wildcats?
I think it takes the positives out of the fourth quarter as we look at what's ahead in round 5. But for them, the energy, when they got back into the game, they were getting on the offensive rebound, they were pressuring full court defensively, they were junking things up, they were building momentum from the defensive end, and we just didn't see it long enough tonight.
So the recipe is there for them. Thanks for your company tonight, gents. Thanks to Damien Martin, who's been courtside. A big weekend coming up. Phoenix Breakers tomorrow, Taipan Kings as well. Your Saturday doubleheader. Tonight, though, well, it was a win that both teams had to have, and Brisbane come out of Perth on top. A big performance. They get it done, 84-79.
This program is brought to you by Hungry Jack's and Bunnings Warehouse.